We're always being played is basically what I'm trying to say to folks, is that we're always being played. That's why all the media cannot be trusted. All of it. You can't fix the media. You're not going to fix the media. There's no way. We thought way back in 2014 that we might actually be able to take out the media, and we were having a lot of success, exposing all their shenanigans, all their fake events, and all these things that they're using to take our rights and our guns and our freedom of speech and all these things away. But they came in and stomped that, and now they control it all. And they've set up the alt-right, which they completely control. They control all the leaders of the alt-right. They're all agents, basically. And they're trying to encourage as many people to go to the extremes as possible, and so that we play right into their game. And this is just how it works. And we have to be smart, and we have to say, and that's why I have to reach out to the blacks and the Hispanics and all the other minorities that are out there and say, don't be played. Don't be played. We're all the same. We're all equal. I don't want to hear about, whites have a higher IQ than blacks. No, I'm not. Those are shills that are putting that shit out. All right? Their whole purpose of doing that type of shit is to try to, divide and conquer more and more. What we need to say is that we're all the same. So we have to look and we have to say, well, who is grossly overrepresented in either our media, not either, in our media, in our governments, in our financial institutions, and in our corporate sort of hierarchy structure. And you could say, yeah, whites for sure. But then you could say, well, if 75 or 70% are whites, and if there's say a certain percentage. But there is one group that has an unbelievable overrepresentation. And this is what we should all be concerned with. This is what they don't want you to see, and they don't want you to talk about this. I can't even say it. See, if I say it right now, probably the YouTube community come and say I'm racist and shut down my video and just delete my channel. So I can't tell you who this group is. I can't tell you who they are. But I think this guy has something to do with it, if that's a big clue, right? And so that's what we should be looking at. This is what I want to say too. I mean, if you support the Twatsons, the Cernoviches, the Mark Schuldices, all these characters, you're playing their game. Because that's exactly what they want you to do. If you support Alex Jones, if you go to these people that are agents that are here to divide and conquer, push people into extremes, and get you to play the exact role that they want you to play, to help usher in more censorship, to help destroy the American Constitution, destroy the right to bear arms, the right for freedom of speech, all the things that keep us free and safe, or have in the past and now are being eradicated at a breakneck pace. We play into their roles. If we show up at these statue takedowns and stuff and pick a side, we're playing exactly into their game. What we need to do collectively is just use logic and explain it to folks and say, well, look, is there something else going on? We're all being played. That's what I'm trying to say to folks, is we're all being played. All the time. We're played. All the time. Your media plays you. Every time you turn on your television, it's a manipulation. Whether it's a commercial, whether it's a television show, whether it's a movie, or whether it's the propaganda or the media itself, it's a manipulation. Every time you go to the movies, you're getting played. You're getting mind controlled. You're being programmed. Absolutely. All the movies. Well, at least the ones certainly coming from Hollywood, 100%. There's not a... You try and find a movie that doesn't have their agendas in it. You just do that. Find me a blockbuster movie that's not chock full of their agendas. Take that up. Yeah, just try and find it. Maybe you don't know the agendas well enough to make that commentary. I sure as fuck do. All right? So I'll tell you, it's all programming. And this is what I'm trying to say to folks, is that there is no solution in their media. There is no solution, period, in their media. You can't fix the media. The only thing that can happen in the media is it can be completely dismantled, and then you have a citizen, independent sort of media that rises forth. And it's based on a meritocracy, and it's based on people having sort of full transparency and just doing the best to provide unbiased, See, that's the whole thing. You go to journalism school, they're supposed to teach you how to be unbiased, right? That's something you're supposed to learn. Well, that's bullshit. You work for ABC News, you work for the dumb turds, you work for, MSNBC, you work for CNN. You couldn't be more biased. You work for the CBC, Beige Horizon CBC, the Gary the Unicorn, Rainbow Unicorn CBC. You couldn't, there's no way you're not going to be biased. You're not allowed to come in and say, well, guess what? Maybe all this alt-right shit is being concocted and coordinated by a certain group. You're not allowed to come in and say that. You can't say the truth. So the bias is there. It'll always be there until it's broken down and rebuilt. That's all. And we're in a very bad situation now where we were really deconstructing the media for years. I can't host a show. I can't do live shows. All my channels are lost, so a lot of my reach is lost. Hundreds of thousands of subscribers lost. I can't reach the people that I used to be able to reach. And, the message that I would say is don't take the bait. Never take the bait. Don't allow yourself to be played by these chameleons. These people that, let's kill a white man. Well, aren't you a white man? You look pretty fucking white to me. Why don't you just volunteer? Why don't you fill that up with frickin', some cyanide or something and wolf it down? Joe Bernstein. Right? This is their game. Their game is to trigger. Their game is to divide and conquer, so that they can turn all the minorities against the majority. And that's exactly what they're doing. That's what they're Get Out, all these movies, Black Panther, all this shit, is all specifically designed to mind control minorities into hating the majority. So that blacks think, well, it's whites, it's whites, it's whites, it's whites, 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 whites. And I understand why, because they're going to the movies, they're going to the shows, they're watching all this, and plus they've had a history that, But the reality is that it's actually another group that are playing everyone against. And if they can take the majority and they can turn every small little group, whether it's the LGBT, PNSW, XYZ, all the different sexualities, whether it's all the different minority groups, you can turn everyone against the majority, then there's an endless sort of chaos that you create that never reaches the top of the pyramid. Never does. Because everybody's looking right across the street at the people that are in the same predicament or in the same sort of economic, stratosphere or whatever you want to say, the same level. So that nobody ever looks and says, well, wait a second, maybe I should think about the banks. Maybe I should think about how the banks are trying to take control of the entire planet. Maybe we should be looking right at the top of the pyramid and pointing to the top of the pyramid and saying that's where we should all be focused. If you're black, you're white, you're Chinese, whatever you are, you should be looking at the top of the pyramid all the time. And you should be saying, whatever we're suffering from, that's where it comes from. That's who's responsible. Let's find out who really runs the top of the pyramid. And then you find the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and all the power families, the Vanderbilts, all these families that have the royals, the British royals, and you find out what they're doing.